Hello and welcome students. Let's start with the next topic that is Hermite's polynomial. So what are Hermite's polynomial? First of all, we need to know what is Hermite's equation. Hermite's equation means a second degree differential equation, which is this: d square y upon dx square minus 2x dy upon dx plus 2ny is equal to 0. When we solve this Hermite's differential equation in series, solving in series means we put y is equal to summation cm x raised to power k plus m, where m vary from 0 to infinity. If we put y this and we solve dy upon dx from here, after differentiating again we get double derivative. After solving these three values, you are going to put it here: y dy upon dx, d square y upon dx square. When you put all these values from here and comparing both sides, as other side is 0, by comparing the coefficient of different parts of x, we get the value of c0, c1, c2, and that when we put it here we get this solution y. So the solution of this is called Hermite's polynomial, which is this. So this is for you to solve this by putting the value of y dy upon dx, d square y upon dx square here in this equation and finding the solution, which must be equal to this. So this is called Hermite's polynomial. What is the solution? This is summation r vary from 0 to n by 2 in the box, where the inside of the summation is minus 1 raised to power r, n factorial, r denominator r factorial, n minus 2r factorial into 2x raised to power n minus 2r. So you have to remember, this is very important result that we are going to use again and again in these questions. So you have to remember this summation, which is h and x. Why it is called polynomial? Because when you expand this summation by putting the value of r as 0, then 1, 2, 3, what you will get? You get x raised to power something plus x raised to power and increasing powers of x, and these will become the coefficients. So in this way this will become a polynomial. So that is why it is called the Hermite's polynomial. And one more thing, what is n by 2, this symbol? It means you have to expand this summation up to n by 2 if the n is even. If n is even, then you have to, if this n, this will be given in the question or in any problem. So if n is even, then you have to write n by 2, because that will be an integer. If n is odd, then what you have to do, n odd divided by 2 will give us a fraction. So what we will do, we will write the last even number before this. So n minus 1 upon 2 we will write if n is odd. Like if n is 5, then 5 minus 1 will be 4. 4 divided by 2 is 2. So that will become an integer. So in this way you will expand the summation up to n by 2 box according to n is even or odd. So this is the definition of Hermite's polynomial and its value. Now we come to the very important result. The first one is generating formula for h and x. Generating formula for h and x means h and x summation can be written as e raised to power 2tx minus t square. How we can write this? Because if we solve the left hand side, e raised to power 2tx into e raised to power minus t square, and we know this formula that e raised to power x is nothing but summation x raised to power n upon n factorial, where n vary from 0 to infinity. So here also, if this is expanded, then you will get 2tx raised to power s upon s factorial, where s vary from 0 to infinity. In the next also, again we expand the summation, let r be the variable, r vary from 0 to infinity, minus t square raised to power r upon r factorial. So we are going to use here this formula of exponential and put it here. So we get two summations, s vary from 0 to infinity and r vary from 0 to infinity. And we can separate the powers of t, and here it is 2x raised to power s minus 1 here, minus 1 raised to power r, we can write it here. Then we have t raised to power 2r from here, and s from here, and in the denominator we have s factorial into r factorial. Now what we have to do, because we keep in mind the value of h and x, I am going to write it here. H and x is summation r vary from 0 to infinity minus 1 raised to power r. Then we have 2x raised to power n minus 2r into n factorial upon r factorial n minus 2r factorial. So this is the value of h and x. So we have to reach, we have started from left hand side and we have to reach the right hand side where we need h and x. So we have to write this summation and everything in this way. We have to find h and x out of this. So for this, what we are going to use here, t raised to power n on the right hand side, here t raised to power 2r plus s. So what we are going to use is put s plus 2r as n, because we have to write it in terms of n. So if we put it here, then s will be changed to n minus 2r, right? Now you are going to put it here. Then before writing this, just write the value of coefficient of t raised to power n in 1. Let us name this as 1, because this term where we have changed it into n. So t raised to power n is this term. The coefficient will be, what will be the coefficient? Because here the coefficient will be minus 1 raised to power r, this one, then 2x raised to power s, then in the denominator, and s is we have changed s to n minus 2r actually. Then we have again s denominator and s is n minus 2r. You have to delete s and put n minus 2r in place of s. This factorial, r factorial. So this is what we are left with. Now one more thing that we are going to see is that we know that here r vary from 0 to infinity, and n is in terms of this one s plus 2r. So we can see that this value as s start from 0 to infinity, so s is greater than or equal to 0. Value of s is n minus 2r, it must be greater than 0. If we find the value of r from here, so it will be 2r less than or equal to n, means r is less than or equal to n by 2. What does it mean? That means the new variable r, this one, does not go 0 to infinity. It will go up to, it will remain less than n by 2, and it is greater than equal to 0. We know that because we have started r from 0 to infinity. But for this condition, if we put this, then we have this condition that r must be from 0 to n by 2, and because n is integer, so it means this value n by 2 box we write, it will be n by 2 if n is even, and it is n minus 1 by 2 if n is odd, right? So now we are going to write the total coefficient of x raised to, t raised to power n in 1 is summation minus 1 raised to power r 1 upon r factorial n minus 2r factorial into 2x raised to power n minus 2r because from here you can see this is the coefficient of t raised to power n. Now the total coefficient, because when we vary the summation and what this variation, it is 0 to n by 2 box. So up to this it will go. So this is this summation, we can compare it with this. All terms are there except n factorial. So what we will do, we will multiply and divide it by n factorial. So here I write n factorial and here also I write the n factorial. So this term is h n x. So you can write now this is 1 by n factorial and this term is h n x. So this is the coefficient of t raised to power n. Therefore, what we will write, I'm going to complete it here only. The left hand side we solve is this, ki coefficient of t raised to power n is this. So therefore, the left hand side is equal to summation n vary from 0 to infinity t raised to power n upon n factorial into h n x, which is equal to right hand side. Why this? Because we have solved the coefficient of t raised to power n, which is h n x n factorial, and summation varies from 0 to infinity, that we know because we have two summation. We expanded one summation, that of r, and we find the value of this. So this is the first formula, that is generating formula. Now next is alternate expression for h and x, which we will prove that equal to minus 1 raised to power n e raised to power x square, nth derivative of e raised to power minus x square with respect to x. So for proving this, we have to use these two important results. First, Taylor's expansion, which for ft is, if f is a function of two variable, actually ftx, so f0 partial derivative of f with respect to t, where we put t is equal to 0 into t raised to power 1 upon 1 factorial, plus double partial derivative with respect to t, where t is 0, and t square by 2 factorial. Continuing in this way, we can write the nth term. So this is the one thing that we are going to use. The second important result that we will use in this proof is, while we change the derivative with respect to t to with respect to x, we will put minus 1 raised to power n if the function is of this type. If function contain x minus t, so you can just change the variable t to x, just putting minus 1 raised to power n around. So these are the two important results that we are going to use. So first of all, while starting from here, solution starts from here, while using the generating formula that we have derived just now. So this is the generating formula. So again you have to write it here. And now on the other side, we are going to use the Taylor's expansion. So this is Taylor's expression. It can also be written as the summation. So we are going to write here it like a summation. So it is sigma. This term is the partial derivative 0th, 1st, 2nd, 3rd and nth. If we are going to write the nth term, so it will be nth partial derivative with respect to t of e raised to power 2tx minus t square, because this is the term in which place we are going to write. This is our fx. So nth partial derivative of this, where we put t is equal to 0 into t raised to power n upon n factorial. Right? Just we have put this. Now comparing both sides, we can see these two terms are present on both sides. So just this will be equal, because both sides are equal. Everything else is equal. So we will have h and x as partial derivative of e raised to power 2tx minus t square with respect to t. Now and also t is equal to 0, that we are going to use. T is equal to 0, it is here. Now what we are going to do here, we will write, first of all we will use the second formula, but before that we are going to write this term 2tx. Now this is 2tx minus t square. If I write x square minus x minus t whole square, you will get the same term, because while expanding this, x square will cancel and you will get only 2tx minus t square. Now if we write it x square minus xt whole square, in place of 2tx minus t square, I am going to write it here, and t is equal to 0. Now you can see from here, now what we will do, nth derivative with respect to t as it is. Now e raised to power x square we can separate from power into e raised to power minus xt whole square. I separated these two terms power because when this minus in between the power, so we can write it as a product. So t is equal to 0. Right? Now e raised to power x square is independent of this derivative because derivative is with respect to t. This term contain only x, so we can take it common from the derivative. So this will become, on the other side we have h and x, and on the right hand side we have nth derivative with respect to t, and e raised to power x square we have taken common, and inside this derivative we have x minus t whole square and t is equal to 0. Right? This is the value that we have obtained right now. Now we will use the second important result, that if we change the derivative from t to x, if we are going to change, and here x minus t, like in this formula I have written x minus t, if a function is of x minus t, if it is nth derivative with respect to t, have to change into nth derivative with respect to x. Without changing the value of the function, just put minus 1 raised to power n. So I put minus 1 raised to power n, and the derivative have changed into the derivative of x. So all the terms are same, just you change t into x, and minus 1 raised to power n we obtained as extra. So this is, so we get minus 1 raised to power n e raised to power x square, because minus 1 again constant. Now the term that is here, this term we get the value of t, because t is 0 here, because the derivative is with respect to x. Now we can put t is equal to 0. When the derivative was with respect to t, we cannot put t is equal to 0 unless evaluating all the derivatives. But here the derivative changed to derivative with respect to x. Now we can put t is equal to 0 because t will be considered independent of this derivative. When we put t is equal to 0, we will get this nth derivative of e raised to power minus x square, because t will vanish when we put t is equal to 0. So this is what we get. Now what we see, that this e raised to power minus x square, the derivative partial derivative will be the total derivative. Why? Because partial derivative is only used when we have more than one independent variables. So here the variable t vanishes when we put t is equal to 0. Only variable remains is x. So derivative with respect to x can be written as, partial derivative can be written as total derivative. So this is what we have to prove. So this is equal to the right hand side.